best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Yes, indeed, and we are happy to announce to you we have the owners of Low Overhead Country, better known as Frontier Motors, with us. Ready, willing, and certainly more than able to take any questions from you, inquiries about a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. I, of course, referred to Ivan Streckel and Ron Schneider. Good morning, gents.
There we go. 476. Now I sound like I'm in a pail.
You do, and why is that?
I don't know. 476-1007. I'll let Ivan talk while you get it fixed.
All right,
One thing that we help you with is we help you with the values of your car. I have, of course, I've got everything on the computer right here. The old-fashioned way of doing it is using the old books, and we have the official black guidebook. This book is the book that you're never going to see at a car dealership because it tells you what the car dealers are supposedly paying for a particular car on a wholesale basis. For example, I just opened up the page to 2008 Mercedes M-Class and says that average wholesale is $17,700 and clean wholesale is $20,300. So if the NADA book value happens to be $30,000, well, there's a pretty big gap from $20,000 to $30,000 as far as retail, and that's why you would call the Frontier Motor Show to find out which one of these books is correct. Is the Edmunds book or the Kelly book or the NADA or the Black book? Which one do you use? Well, the way that we give you the right information is by going in right to the auction reports to see what is that 2008 Mercedes selling for right now. And if I know that they're selling for about $20,000, then I would say that the Black book is correct. And then I would I would add the shipping, the auction fee, and a profit, and say let's come in somewhere around the $22,000 to $24,000 range, which would make the NADA book quite a bit too high. And that's why you call Frontier Motors or call the radio show here. That number is 478-1007, or put 888 in front of there if you're outside of the Pensacola area, and we can help you instantaneously get the value of your car.
Absolutely, and I got a microphone, as you can see there on TV. This is live, so we switched it around. It sounds complicated, but what we're doing this show for, and what we've been doing this show for the past 17 years, is try and make it uncomplicated, or try and make it a little bit easier. Ivan talks about sometimes that people hate buying cars because they hate the process. Well, one of the things at Frontier Motors we do is we try to make that process a little bit easier. Give you the information you need. Ivan's talking about information that you can call, number one, Frontier Motors, and get instantly. Number two, if you're shopping with us, you can get that while you're there because all of the salespeople have it on their laptops. And it makes it easier not to make mistakes anymore. I mean, and to call. You call a credit union today, which is good. I have 2 credit unions that I use in town, but they don't know color. They don't know if it's been smoked in. They don't know any of these things. If it's been up in New York and Boston and something hanging around up there for 2 years and that salty stuff up there. But we do, and that's what we look at. We look at history, we look at values, and we do that here on the radio show. It's 476-1007. Is that correct, Don? 476-1007. You'd like to join us?
Yeah, I said 478.
Yeah, 476-1007. 476-1. I got to write that down.
We've only
been doing this for a while.
17 years and still don't know the number.
Hey, for those cable viewers watching, I know that we had a customer Saturday. Ivan came in there and he said, I got to meet the guys on TV. One of the guys, where are they? And he says, there's one over there. So I came over and said hello. He says, you know what? I might be goofy, but I've been watching you guys for about 10 years. And I says, it took you 10 years to come in and buy a car? I said, yeah. But he said he enjoys the show. He enjoys everything about it. And coming to Frontier Motors has been exactly what we told him. And that's why we do these TV shows, to let you know that there's somebody out there to help you with values, understand the values, and for any reason. You don't have to buy a car from us.
No.
Let's say you've got an insurance loss. What if you got an insurance loss and you got to settle with your insurance company? Well, what are you going to do? You really don't need to call your credit union. You don't really need to call anybody. You need to call somebody in the car business. And what Ivan and I do, or one of our staff, is we'll actually put the vehicle's value in writing, date it today, and sign it so that you got something you can go to the negotiation with.
And when I get the registrations around, the last time I counted the amount of dealers in our 2-county area, which would be Escambia and Santa Rosa County, there are 108 used car dealerships. If you count the new and used car dealerships, 108 dealerships. 108. So there's a lot of places that you can buy a car. And what we want to do is get the word out there that there's a dealership probably the only dealership that I've heard advertise that we will help you buy a car at one of those other 108 dealers. We're one of those 108 dealers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have exactly the car that you want. Even though we do have a pretty good inventory. Last time I looked, we had about 310 cars in inventory, so we might just have that same car. But what we do is help you get the value. So let's say you found a car at one of the dealerships, whether it be a new car dealership or used car dealership, and you're just not sure what's a good deal. You're just not sure if that NADA book that the credit union is giving you is the right book, or should you use the Kelly Blue Book, or should you use the Edmunds. That's why you call Frontier Motors for free advice. And we're not here to kink your deal. We're not here to tell you not to buy from a particular dealership. We're here to make sure that if you're going to buy from another dealer, that you get yourself a good deal. Because we know that if we help you get yourself a good deal, who are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about not the person you bought the car from, but the dealership that helped you get the deal. And that's what we've been doing in Pensacola. Matter of fact, Ron said we're going on our 18th year this year.
Yeah, past Tuesday was our 18th year, and now we are in our 18th year, so we can celebrate that and talk to all you cable viewers. I was on the show on Monday here and told everybody, hey, I get to tell you that we've been in business now 18 years. A little off the car business, WCOA, 100.7, 1370 AM. They always support this. This is the Toys for Tots. And we're one of the drop-off spots for Frontier Motors.
It's empty, Ron.
It's empty, but
I'll tell you, you're really strong.
Let me tell you something. We usually fill up 4 or 5 of these, and we have some great WCOA listeners that come in there. There's an older couple that comes in every time, and they bring us a couple bicycles, a girl's bike and a boy's bike, and they fill it up instantly with that. And, of course, we got to get Don and those guys to come empty it. But we are a drop-off. We are at 230 Beverly Parkway. For those not familiar where Beverly Parkway is, it's right outside of Car City. If you're coming from the west side of town, come down Michigan Avenue, cross over W Street, right there on the left-hand side if you want to drop off some Toys for Tots. Or if you're coming from Cordova Mall area, come down Brent Lane, cross over 29, 2 or 3 blocks on your right-hand side. Frontier Motors, drop off the Toys for Tots. This is the giving season. Make sure you stop by and see us, or one of the locations for Toys for Tots. There you go.
That's right. And one of the things that we can also help you with while you're in the car dealership, bring us an ID number of a car you're perhaps looking at. If you're coming in to bring a toy, bring the ID number with you of the car you're looking at. And Ron and I, or one of our salespeople, will run a history report for you. And we have unlimited Carfax and auto checks available. So let's say you found a car on Craigslist, for example, and you're mildly interested in the car. You can use Frontier reasons for 2. You can use Frontier for 2 reasons. Number one, to make sure that the price that they're asking is correct, or if it's too high. I notice a lot of them that I look on Craigslist and on eBay, Ron, they're asking full retail for, even though it's private individuals. You always think, well, I'll buy one from a private because I get a better deal. It's not necessarily true. Because I'll call up that private individual and say, hey, you're asking retail for the car. That's not a bargain for anybody. And what we can do for you while you're there is give you the price and also run that history report for you. The last time I checked, the Carfax was $39.95. I think they give you 5 or 6 Carfaxes for $40. At Frontier Motors, you can run as many as you want for free. So get the word out there. I don't care if you're buying a car from another dealership. Not all dealerships want to pay that $40. At Frontier Motors, we paid one fee, and we can run as many as you want. So that's one of the extra things and services that we can help you with also.
I got a little example. Saturday, we sold a 2001 Avalon that you traded. It had just 119,000 miles on it. Gave the customer a price, and he went home to mull it over, as they say in Pensacola, and called me back the next day. He says, I'm not sure. I see some other ones out there a little bit less. And I said, how much less? He said, $700 or $800 less. I said, well, let me give you the idea about my car. Number one, it comes with a warranty. Are any of those cars that you're looking at? He said, no, they're all individuals. I said, well, mine comes with a warranty. Well, he said, that makes a little bit of sense. He says, has the timing chain been changed? Well, I don't know that. I said, but in my glove box, there's a receipt that shows it has.
That's like $400.
Yeah. I said, is the water pump been changed? And he said, well, I don't know those. He says, well, it has, and here's all the records. So the records and everything in a car and buying from a dealer and somebody to come back to talk to after it breaks. If you buy it from Uncle Bob down the street, it breaks. Uncle Bob ain't helping you. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if you know him, especially if it's a relative, you don't want to go ask. But buying from a car dealer like Ivan said sometimes can be, be a big advantage. So if you're looking for a car and you're looking for the right way to buy a car, you can check with Frontier Motors. Our telephone number there is 436-8080. It goes across the bottom of the screen right there. And it goes across the screen is some of our inventory. And we have right now, I think it's 302 used cars in stock. Ivan will buy more. That's what his job is this week, to buy some more. He'll buy 20 to 30 used cars to replace those, maybe sometimes as high as 40. If you're out there and you're selling a car, or maybe you put it on Craigslist, or maybe you put it in AutoTrader or Cars.com and you're selling it, maybe you might want to come by Frontier Motors and let us give you a buy bid. We'll give you a buy bid in writing It's good for 7 days. In other words, you can think about it. Really, that doesn't make sense in car business. They don't let you usually think about things. But we'll give you a buy bid where you can go talk to your husband or wife or a relative. For instance, if you're settling an estate and you want to sell the car, bring it by. We'll give it in writing. You can talk to all your siblings and get it handled. Or if you're a family now that's going from 1 car to 2 car, or maybe you got lucky this year and you got a new job and you got a car from the company and you got your car sitting out there. We just bought one Friday like that. But a lot of good cars, a lot of good things. 300 used cars in stock. You know, you got a little interesting article that you read the other day to us over there at the lot, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we never talk about, we always talk about car prices, but we never talk about car part prices.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had to buy a bulb for a car years ago, I mean, it starts off, it says fixing a broken headlight used to be as cheap as $10 for a new bulb. But to break one of the fancy LED headlights on the new Corolla subcompact Toyota, and it'll set you back $737.
Ouch.
So there's other things to consider when you talk about when you're purchasing a car. Now, Corolla has always been one of the best cars on the road, and we're hoping that bulb will never burn out. But it used to be. I remember when I worked at the gas station. You remember the old 1157s, 1158. One was the rear one was the front one, and then you just pop it in, pop it out.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Cost can vary even on the same car. The left side mirror of a Honda Accord EX is $250. The left side is $250, but the right side, which has a camera for Honda's Lane Watch blind spot system, is $341.
Ouch.
So, I mean, it just starts there. Inside, it also says the inside mirrors can be pricey also. The mirror on a Fusion may have an embedded sensor that turns on the wipers when it detects rain on the windshield. The replacement cost for the Fusion mirror is $1,200.
We already seen the effect. You know, we sold a FX35 the other day, and the rear view camera wasn't working. I said, well, just take it down to Performance Automotive. That's what we use here in Pensacola. And he calls me, it's going to be about $500. I said, $500 for the repairs on a rear view camera? He says, yeah, it's an Infinity.
Well, and what I'm getting at, Ron, a little bit is that these are things that come into play when you buy a car from a car dealership that doesn't properly set up their cars for delivery.
Right.
And some car dealership would take that FX35 in trade and not worry about fixing the camera. Because you said, well, I'm not going to get $500 more for that car. But it's one of the things that what we do as Frontier Motors is we go through our checklist of things that we want to make sure that when you take delivery of the car, that everything's working properly. And there are times when we even get caught up in it because we don't know how much some of these parts are costing. And what I'm getting, folks, is that if you look at a car dealership and they've got a car, and let's say the right rear power window doesn't work, the backup camera's not working, the sensors aren't working, and they tell you something, don't worry about it, it's just a fuse. Well, if it's just a fuse, number one, have them fix it. Number two, what caused the fuse to break? Little things like an oxygen sensor can become big things when the oxygen sensor doesn't fix the check engine light. And Bobby Likus will tell you that it's like chasing a rabbit in circles. You never know what caused the thing to go on. So I'm getting at, folks, is step back and make sure that you know what it costs to repair the car before you buy the car, because you'll see that one online and it'll be $4,000 cheaper because it needs $4,000 worth of repairs, and the dealership, some dealerships, believe it or not, don't have the cash to be able to make those repairs because the bank doesn't borrow money for repairs. The bank will borrow money for the car, but not for the repairs. So you get on the lot and you go, well, how come this isn't fixed? How come this isn't fixed? They don't want to tie up their cash in the car.
Yeah, with an inventory like ours, we have over $6 million worth of inventory, 300 some odd cars. You can sometimes have $30,000, $40,000 tied up in just reconditioning sitting out there. And like I've said, a lot of these car lots don't do it, or corporate owned, and they say, no, don't do that. But you can be careful. When somebody tells you at a car lot or you're buying one off the street, and they said there's a yellow service light on there, hey, don't worry about it, it's just a yellow service light and it runs good. Here's an example. I was talking about a Lexus. We came in and it had just a yellow service light on it.
Which we think is an oil change.
An oil change. It has 6 O2 sensors. Not 1, 6. Well, guess what? 4 of those were bad. $1,128 later. That's what a little check engine light can do. So you got to be a little bit cautious when you buy one of those. We, of course, at Frontier Motors, don't sell them. The only time we've actually set a light was one of those TPS sensors. Some guy put a big fancy set of wheels on a Jeep.
TPS is a tire pressure monitor sensor, which we don't really worry about that much. I've got a $114,000 car I'm driving around, and the sensor's on. and the funny thing is, it tells you the air pressure. I have 32. 32. One of the tires is 31. 1 pound,
so
and the light comes on. I'm just
Oh.
so frustrated with that because it's hard to keep because the air, climate has a lot to do with tire pressure. But anyways, we're getting off the track.
Well, I want to say something about that real quick. The neat thing about a TPS sensor is it also has one in the spare. So if the spare is not, it goes flat while you're driving. Now, let's say you just came home from one of those big holidays, or you're driving to go to holiday, and all of a sudden that light comes on, you go check all four, and it's still on. It's also on the spare. Yes, it's also on the spare. So just be a little bit cautious with that. Those are the little things we find in the car business. Inventory, huge. I mean, listen to some of this. Just in BMWs, 8 BMWs, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2004, 645. That car is so pretty. Buicks, we have some great Buicks. If you're out there driving an old Buick, this is the time to buy some. I got 2 Enclaves. I got 3 LaCrosses, 1 beautiful LeSabre. I got an 05 Park Avenue with only 70,000 miles. And I have a 2011 Buick Regal CXL. You know, Buick has been known for that Regal forever. 16,000 miles, folks. It's a 2011. I'll sell it for $19,800. That's just crazy for a 2011. We got Cadillacs. Got 8 Cadillacs, Chevrolets. We got 29 Chevrolets. In Chryslers, 6 Chryslers, Dodges. We only have 19 Dodges. Ford, we have 40 Fords. 40 Fords. Can you say that real fast, anybody? 40 Fords.
40 Fords.
Thank you, sir. GMCs, we have 7. Hondas, we have 17. Hyundais alone, we have 14. Hyundais come pretty well. It's been a really good car for us to sell used because we don't want any problems after the sale. We haven't had any engine problems. We haven't had any transmission problems. Every once in a while, a power window don't work or something like that. But the only thing that I always gripe about Hyundai is you got to take, if you need an extra key, you got to take it to the Hyundai store to get it reprogrammed. But other than that, they've come from the bottom of the pack to the top of the pack.
If you read Consumers Reports, which we do at Frontier Motors, we actually have the Consumers Reports right there. If you don't subscribe to it, you can stop in and we can show it to you. It'll rate a lot of the Hyundai products higher than the Honda and the Toyota products and the Lexus products, which have always traditionally got the top spot for reliability. Is the Honda, Toyotas, and the Lexus products. And the Hyundais are right up there on some models, like the Sonata. The Sonata was actually rated higher than the Camry this year, Ron.
Yeah,
the Camry is the number 1 selling car in the world. Is the Toyota Camry, and Hyundai has a better rating as far as reliability and customer satisfaction than the Camry.
We're kind of like the Barnes and Nobles of reading facts about cars over there. And what I was talking about earlier in the show, he showed the NADA guides, the Black Book guides. What we also have is from when we started 18 years ago, the new car cost guides all the way through to the current year, 2014 now. And those give us history and groups and what you can get and what you can't get. So if you're interested in a 2010 Dodge Caravan SXT, what comes with an SXT? Do you want the 2 twin power doors? Maybe you got to go to the Limited. Maybe you got to go up. We have all those. So we're like at the Barnes and Nobles of used cars because all those facts are there, including Consumer Reports. Ivan keeps the automotive news there, which gives us incentives and things like that. So, get enough information before you buy a car. Why we keep all that information around? There's no secrets anymore with the internet. I mean, you can find anything out just about on the internet you need to know about automobiles, and we have a great website. What's our website?
Our website is frontiermotorsinc.com. You really don't have to memorize the website address. Just Google Frontier Motors.
I think they should.
Just Google Frontier Motors. I'm going to do it while we talk. I'm going to do it while we talk. I'm going to Google Frontier Motors.
I think they should just have a jingle. Memorize FrontierMotorsInc.com. FrontierMotorsInc.com.
Crap. Everybody doesn't. That's too much to remember. FrontierMotorsInc.com. I don't even know how to spell it.
See, there you got to just a little
Google
logo.
Frontier Motors. We're the first one that pops up. You click on there, go into our inventory, and you'll see 308 cars inventory. Up to 31 detailed photographs. I think about 90% of the cars on there have prices. The only ones that don't have prices are the ones we just got. Sometimes we don't have the invoices on them yet, so we don't even know what we paid for them, much less what to ask for them. But almost all of them have prices on there. And if you're worried if that's the best deal or not, all you do is pick up the phone or email us or text us, however you want to get a hold of us. Send a carrier pigeon, I don't care. And we will give you the bottom line price in a matter of minutes. That's one of the things that we really should talk about a little bit, Ron, even though I don't want to make this all about the Frontier Motor Show. We want to let people know that we do help people buy cars, whether they buy it from here or somewhere else. But that we do things a little bit differently. And one of the things that we can do to make it and take the stress out of buying a car is why don't you come into Frontier Motors, pick out a car, and we'll give you the bottom line price within a matter of minutes. In other words, here's the NADA retail, here's the book value on the car, which is the NADA. This is what the banks are going to quote you. Here's what we're asking, and here's our bottom line price. No back and forth. We're going to discount the car as far as we possibly can, give you the best price, and then we're going to do something different. We're going to add the taxes, the dock fee, the tag transfer, the title fee, and give you one out-the-door price because it makes it so much easier for you to go to the next dealership. And if you're comparing a brand new Honda, for example, which we have brand new Hondas on a lot, I've got a Honda CRZ on a lot, which is their little hybrid Ron. It's got 70 miles on it. You take that out the door figure, then you go to the Honda dealership, you look at a new one, and see what's the price gap. Well, if the price gap's only $1,000 or $1,500, you buy a brand new one. What if it's $5,000 or $6,000? You end up buying from Frontier Motors. And that's how easy we can make it. Take the stress out of buying a car. You'll know exactly what your trade's worth within a matter of minutes and what you can pay at our car, and then take that figure and go shop it and see if anybody can get you a better deal. We're pretty smart when we do it because we want to make sure you come back, so we give you a good deal right off the bat.
I think I got it. Jingle bells, Frontier Motors, Inc.com. No, don't work
for me. Doesn't do nothing for me.
You were doing so serious. I'm giving him a hard time. He was off for 3-4 days. I got to get him going again. One of the other free services that Ivan and I are talking about is Carfax, and this is a report of a Carfax. And Carfax has got a little bit into...
It's got red on it.
It got a little red. You don't see no red on the Carfax, even though it's the holidays, folks. But this particular Carfax also shows that this car is $2,020 under the value in this area. And the reason for it is it got a branded title on it. It's been actually bought by the insurance company and sold to a car dealer, and then the car dealer fixed it up, and then they sold it. Now, this particular one it was a hail damage, and it was in a tornado up in St. Louis. I kept this in my little book over here. But the neat thing about it is I are talking about values and who to call and who to... No, they're saying that it's undervalued. And some of the Carfaxes now are getting into... If the cars are good in value. For instance, Honda Civics. Very sometimes tough to get one close to the NADA retail sometimes. Now, I know that the book says that, but if the market, if you go down to the auto auction, and Ivan and I want to buy a nice Civic with 10, 15,000 miles on it, and there's 20 guys bidding on it, you're going to pay over a little bit. Well, that's what the Carfax says, too. You're going to pay a little bit over. We're not talking thousands. They sometimes say $200, $300, $400. So these are services that we'll do absolutely free. Carfax. Just come to Frontier Motors, bring us the ID number, or you can give us a call, like I said, the old-fashioned way. Don't do it in carrier pigeon because it might change by then, like I haven't said, but that's one of the other free services.
We ran a Carfax the other day also, Ron, and I noticed, and it was a car I was going to buy from a private individual, and it had 60,000 miles on it, but then, on the odometer it said 60,000 miles, but then he had an oil change, and it said it had 100,000 miles on it.
Whoops.
So that kept me from buying the car. He said, well, that's not right. I said, well, then you have to get it fixed because my next customer is going to run the history report.
Yep.
And we actually take all the history reports. We take the Carfax and the auto check. We fold them up and put them in a glove box. You don't even have to ask us for it. Our cars are unlocked every day, and the history reports are in the glove box. So if you're worried about having to go run one yourself, just check the glove box. They're right in there. So it makes it a lot easier for you to make sure that you don't buy a car that has an issue. And I'm not saying not to buy a car that has an issue, like this branded car, this salvage title car. Somebody's going to buy this car, but it better be a bargain. Right?
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, who would buy a salvage title car unless it was a bargain? And this says buy the car $2,000 cheaper. We're thinking this must be a $4,000 car. Yeah. Because usually a branded title is 50% of the value of the car. So if it's a $10,000 car, you should be able to buy that car for $5,000.
I had a customer the other day that bought a brand new Jeep, and I was buying it, and they said it had an accident on it. She said, no, it doesn't have an accident on it. So they called the Dodge dealer, and believe it or not, they were going to get gas in this vehicle, and they had one of those where everybody stops in a row, like boom, 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 everybody gets hit. That car never got hit, but because the car behind him got hit and the car in front of him was hit, he called the owner of the dealership or the general manager. And he says, no, stay there and make sure that you now don't have any damage. Guess what? They put that in the police report that they were at the accident. And it never got any damage to it. So they got it cleared. They got it fixed on Carfax because it never got any damage. But that's how fast that can change. So it sometimes, like Ivan said, it really doesn't matter if you have an issue. Find out what that issue is. And if it does have a major issue, you better get a bargain. The fact is that we could keep the overhead down. And there's a word in the car business, in any business, is profit. Well, it's the amount of profit that some people charge. We came around, got a low overhead, no big overhead, so we had to recover that from each consumer. And we'll be able to whip the prices on everybody else around us. And pricing is big in used cars. That's why you buy a used car, to save money. Well, that was one of the reasons we chose that place. In 18 years, it's gotten a little bit bigger. We've gotten more land. We've only gotten a little bit bigger in the office. We keep that just nice and a little tidy there. We can't fit a car in there. We have a bunch of salespeople. We have 11 salespeople, a staff of almost 25 already.
That's a bunch. 11 is a bunch.
Yeah, 11's a bunch. Or a herd. One or the other. But we have 25 people on our staff. They all do great for us. We're very thankful for all of them. And you need to come see them. Ask for one of the salespeople. When you got 300 vehicles in stock, use a salesperson to guide you around. Don't worry about it. They're not going to attack you. We don't have the attacking kind. We don't have the ones that steal your email and bother you. They'll call you back if there's something there. But let me tell you something. At 6 o'clock, our salespeople go home. They're not one of those people that call you at 8 o'clock in the middle of the night while you're eating dinner or you're eating something like that. But come by. It's at 230 Beverly Parkway. That's the road right between W Street and Highway 29, basically an extension of Michigan Avenue and Brent Lane.
The cool thing about coming to an independent dealership like Frontier Motors is that it's almost like going to a car show, especially and very important if you're really not sure what you want. And if you're looking for a sport utility, for example, let's say you're thinking Highline or midline sport utility like a BMW X5, or maybe you're looking for at the Audi model, or maybe you're looking at a Lexus RX 350, or one of the other multitude of mid-sized sport utilities, a Ford Edge, for example. You've got to go to all those different dealerships, which means you have to meet all those different salespeople, all those different sales managers, leave your information with every single dealership that you go to, because if you're going to take a test drive in one of their cars, they're going to want your phone number, your email address, and everything else. So then you're going to be worried about having every one of those salespeople call you back and make you feel bad that you're not buying their product. At Frontier Motors, we have them all lined up, and they're all unlocked. So you can go meet one salesperson that's not going to bug you if you don't want to be bugged, but you can look at all the different models. You can test drive all the different models on one location. And it doesn't mean you have to buy right then and there. We had the other day, Ron, where a customer drove one of our Lexus products. She says, I love it. She drove about 5 different vehicles. I love this Lexus. I just don't like burgundy. I want this car in white. So instead of her going to Lexus or Mobile and buying one there, we said, don't go anywhere. Let me give you a price on a white one, and we'll go buy you the white one. Matter of fact, we delivered a white one the other day.
We delivered the white one the other day. Hey, remember, now it's the holiday season. We are at drop-off point. We are making lots of noise over here. Drop-off point for Toys R Us, 230 Beverly Parkway.
No, Toys R Us is the
Toys R Us is the
place
Toys are for tots.
You got to go to Toys R Us to buy the toys.
Toys for Tots. It's the Marine Corps. They always do a great job. We've been doing it for 50,
toys,
60.
Right? They don't want used toys. They want
new toys. Okay. New toys, right? Unwrapped new toys. Bicycles, anything you want to bring, Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway. Holiday season's upon us. FrontierMotorsINC.com. You can remember that in the little jingle Ivan came up with earlier, or you can just come by and see us at 230 Beverly Parkway. And financing. We didn't talk a little bit about financing. Fantastic right now, right?
I think the lowest rate since we've been in the business, Ron, I got in the car business in the mid-'70s, and the interest rates back then, I remember, were 18%. And right now, they're more like 1 or 2 or 3%. Right. They're crazy stupid. It doesn't even make sense. A lot of people that have the cash to buy a car are financing it because they can make more money on their cash than what they can do by paying the low interest rates. Phenomenal financing, and almost, I would say 70% of the time people come in and say, I'm going to go to my credit union or my bank. They end up financing through us. They find out that we have some sources that actually beats your local banks and credit unions.
We want to thank WCOA for letting us film where we're doing our cable viewers right here, and all of the people out there listening on WCOA, come by and see us, and of course all the cable viewers out there, Fort Walton, Mobile, everywhere you're out there. Come see us at 230 Beverly Parkway, or on the web at FrontierMotorsINC.com. You can look at those 300 cars Ivan and I have been talking about before you get there, and then pick out 2 or 3. That way you can can narrow down a little bit. But use one of the great salespeople to show you around, and come see us. And remember, everybody drives a used car.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead.